Will Smith, let me preface this story.
This is from the GQ interview, correct?
Yeah.
Because what you sent me was not the GQ interview itself.
No, it was basically a
abridged version.
Abridged version. Will Smith, that Will Smith, has a brand new book coming out. It's a 432-page mega memoir called Will, which is coming out on...
mega memoir.
It's 432 pages.
Well, he's got a lot.
It's coming out on November 9th. His co-author, Mark Manson, wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F.
Oh, yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So, again, we follow celebrities and we hold Britney Spears signs up and everything else is what we do in this country. So Will and Jade have had this, what we think is a wonderful relationship, because if you're together for 23 years, you're obviously doing something right.
That's
or
right.
You're either really, really patient with each other, or there's some type of vibe there, right? Some type of chemistry. And so, when you have these couples that stay together for a long period of time, people want to know how you're doing it. Mm-hmm. So we heard that maybe Jade had an extramarital affair, and she's like, that's baloney. We heard that maybe they were swingers, and they're like, that's baloney. Mm-hmm. We heard that they were well steeped in Scientology, and that was baloney. And now we're finding out that all of it was true.
Yeah.
They call it relational perfection. The defiantly out there couple who've been married for 23 years, have 2 children together, Jade and a daughter, who are beautiful, by the way, have admitted that Jada Pinkett had an affair with R&B singer August Alsina during a break in their marriage. That she's also sexually attracted to women, and that they share an unorthodox parenting style. She said, we do not punish our children.
Wait, she's polyamorous and bisexual?
You tell me. You're the expert on this.
Well, because there's a difference between if you're sexually attracted to women and men, you're essentially bisexual. But polyamorous is sort of able to fall in love with multiple people.
Isn't that bisexual?
No, not necessarily. Because you can have polyamorous. You could be polyamorous and heterosexual. That would be like you.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, we had somebody working here.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
But she was bisexual.
Well, she happened to be bisexual
because she had him.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I don't think she was ever sexually attracted to other women. She was attracted to other men, and she, quite frankly, she would use it against him.
Yeah.
Like, get your crap together, because the guy I'm working with is starting to turn me on, kind of thing. Hollywood's most dubiously enduring duo has been less forthcoming about their now shuttered alleged secret Scientology school. In 2017, the former Scientologist Lee Remini claimed that Pinkett Smith, have you ever seen that show, by the way? The Lee Remini show? God bless him.
She just brings them all down. That's some
And I believe every word she says, because when she calls somebody out, they're like, no.
Yeah.
The couple denied any affiliations to the controversial religion. We've never been Scientologists. We've never been swingers, Smith said at the time. Well, they were. And however, Smith has now revealed that he and his wife are indeed in a very open marriage. We've given each other trust and freedom, in quotes, with the belief that everybody has to find their own way, and marriage for us can't be a prison.
See, he is, he got into, what was it, Harvard, and he is like...
Yeah, they're both super smart.
Like, super, super smart. But read that quote. Like, that quote does not mean that they're in an open marriage. That quote alone. Read that quote again.
We have given each other trust and freedom, and with the belief that everyone has to find their own way, and marriage for us can't be a prison. That's something you say after you've already had some bumps in the road.
No. But that's that line, I could see that line as a vow. I absolutely could see that line as a vow. Because all that's saying is that we trust that our love will keep us together.
And what that tells me, too, is at some point in their marriage, it was a prison.
No. I mean, yes,
right?
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is that doesn't say that you have an open marriage. What it says is a marriage shouldn't be a prison.
Yeah, but they are in an open marriage. He admitted that.
But that line doesn't tell you that they're in an open marriage.
He even admitted that his wife's entanglement with Alsina made it seem like she was the adulterous one, but that she was not. Smith delicately explained, in fact, the case. Jada never believed in conventional marriage. Jada had family members.
She just didn't tell Will.
Did she tell you that 23 years ago? Jada had family members that had an unconventional relationship, so she grew up in a way that was very different than how I grew up.
Okay.
Then Smith dropped what could be the most annoying celebrity slang since consciously uncoupling was made infamous by Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin. There were significant, endless discussions about what is relational perfection. What is the perfect way to interact as a couple? And for the large part of our relationship, monogamy was what we chose, not thinking of monogamy as the only relational perfection.
See, I'm just geeking out.
Go.
Like, forget all the spicy, salacious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's some pretty deep relationship conversation, relational perfection. Can you in fact, I might sit down and have this conversation with Jules when she gets back in town.
Yeah.
What is relational perfection? What do we strive for? This sounds like vows. What do we want out of a relationship? If you came into marriage counseling, this is part of what they would ask you. How do you define a relational perfection? What are you striving for? What is the ideal relationship, and how does it look to you?
You know how rare this is, though, that they're making this work?
Yeah, no, I understand that. What I'm saying is,
because I can promise you, when he met her 23 years ago when they got married,
he was like, "She's smoking hot."
She's not smoking hot, and you're not screwing around on me,
right?
And now all of a sudden, in their 50s,
well, you're 50, you learn a lot.
You do, and I would bet that he's probably been with some other people too, because then he revealed in his self-indulgent, arguably sexist fantasy about having a harem of girlfriends, including Misty Copeland and Halle Berry.
That's a fantasy. He hasn't necessarily been with them.
And no, but I mean, he's already mentioning that he would like to have a harem. And his work with celebrity intimacy counselor Michaela Bohm, which allowed him to realize that my thoughts were not sins, and even acting on an impure thought didn't make me a piece of shit. She made him real.
He's God.
He's
good.
He's leaving.
He's so good.
Yeah, but he's leaving all these doors open.
Yeah, I know, but
he's leaving all these doors
because he's smart.
Yeah.
He is so.
So this is telling me that he screwed around on her.
But you hear what he said?
Yeah. Which is fine if it works.
I love that. We've done a show on this. Yep. Having the thought, and people will debate. Having the thought does not mean that there's anything inherently wrong with you. Number one, that's from a psychological perspective. Yep. He's saying acting on it. I love this. Acting on it doesn't make me a piece of shit. Well, if you went to a priest and you said, "Father, I have sinned.
Yeah.
I have betrayed. Yeah. I have cheated on my wife," would the priest say,
"You're a piece of shit"?
They wouldn't. They wouldn't.
No, they wouldn't.
And that's what he's doing. I'm defending him because he should run for office.
Oh, he'd be perfect.
That's exactly, because he's freaking smart. He knows how. Every word that he lays out there, he's laying out there in a. I'm saying calculated, but I think it's intentional, man.
Again, let's remember his book's coming out November 9th.
That's exactly.
Hollywood insider who's close to the couple said it's not like we haven't heard the stories rumbling around. It's just that we've never heard of them confessing or admitting to anything. Mm-hmm. That's how the relationship has been for so long that you just get used to the way it functions. Also, it's a lot of pressure when people are watching you and you feel like you want to maintain this facade of having this power couple relationship. So yes, I think they want to maintain that facade. She went on to say that it's very difficult to pretend you're married. He also said that one of the biggest arguments they ever had was at her 40th birthday party. She was with a lot of friends. He threw the birthday party, and he just went over the top. And she basically called him out on it and said, "This is all about you. This is all about your ego. This has nothing to do with me. You decided to throw this big." It was all about how big of a party Will Smith can throw for his wife.
It's the proposal one, right?
2009, Pinkett Smith said, "I've heard of all these things. Their marriage is not real. He's gay. She's gay. They swing. I'll tell you, it's hard to be in a pretend marriage." Of course, she denied all those things back in 2009. In the blockbuster 2020 episode, Jada and Will, their first one-on-one conversation, the couple finally admitted to Pinkett Smith's affair with Alsina, who joined the family on vacation, which is kind of weird, in 2016, because I don't think Will knew who he was. She didn't consider a transgression because the couple had been on a break. Is that how it works?
No, that's the one.
That's crap. I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good. And the episode filled is polyamory for you. She went on to say she identified herself as polyamorous. I think the main foundation is the freedom to be able to create a relationship style that works for you and not just stepping into monogamy because that's what everyone around you says is the right thing to do.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
Again, if you have a husband or a girlfriend or a wife or whatever that understands that and they're cool with it,
I like
good
that
for you.
line. You shouldn't step into monogamy. This is like, I feel like this is a Bible study class. You see what she's saying here, Tony? What she's saying is you shouldn't step into monogamy because everybody says you should. Absolutely. Agree with it 100%.
Well, you should step into monogamy
because you want to.
Well, you want to, and if you're getting married, at least according to the laws of marriage, and this is not a God law either. This is a legal law because if you cheat in a marriage,
that's not reason for annulment, though. It's not.
It's not, but it can be considered abusive, and if it's abusive, then it's an annulment.
But you see what he's saying is
again, it's your narrative, and it's what you want to read into it.
No, what I'm saying is the whole monogamy thing. You said, okay, it's part of marriage, but you choose monogamy and you choose marriage.
Yep.
There's not a.
That's right. That's right. You chose it. Now, if you go into a marriage and you want to write in your vows that we don't need to be monogamous and we have an open relationship, okay, great.
Right.
But if you go into the marriage, and most people do, with the idea that we're not going to cheat on each other and we're monogamous, hell, we get 3 or 4 dates in with somebody, and we have that conversation.
Right.
Hey, listen. What are we?
Exclusive.
I mean, are you still dating other people? Am I still dating other people? I mean, we're exclusive. We're getting along pretty good here because I want to make sure that,
Do you think that we're all up in a tangle because of this, because they're still together? Like, it's such an easy target with celebrities to just slam on this stuff.
Sure.
And yes, their stuff, like I said, they've got a lot of stuff. The Scientology school,
and again, we don't know all of it.
No.
They're only putting out there what they want us to know. And so that looks like, okay, well, if that works for you, that's fine. And that's an amazing story because there's not too many people that are on the same algorithms and same vibe as those two are.
Well, that's a complicated algorithm.
Yeah, because I don't know too many dudes that would be okay with their wife on a break.
Yeah, the break.
First of all, when you're on a break, you're supposed to be trying to figure things out and trying to work on your marriage. That's why you're on a break.
Well, maybe
unless you both just say, listen, let's take a break for the next couple of weeks. I feel like getting after the woman in HR back at work.
That's open.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, when you take a break, like if you take a break at work, why are you taking a break for work? You're stressed out. You need to go take a walk. You don't go out and, smoke a bag of weed because it makes things worse.
Right.
You want to work through it. So when you get back to work or get back to a marriage in this particular case, you're better at it.
Yeah, I mean, we were on a break. It's almost like we were on a break and there was a transgression.
Yeah. It's the whole Ross and Rachel thing.
Yes.
I mean, that's the most powerful. And in the show, I realize the TV show, he would admit that it wasn't the right thing to do.
Right.
It was just, you know why? Resentment.
Yes.
There was resentment there. Screw it. If she's dating somebody, then I'm going to go get some.
Yeah, I mean, and again, to your point, if you're on a break, or even if you're separated, if you're separated in a marriage and you're separated with the idea of we're separated to see how things go.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference. You can say we're getting a divorce and the divorce is in progress, and so we're separated because we're on that line.
That's one thing. Okay, yeah.
That's one. The other is
knock yourself out.
The other one, or knock somebody else out. But the other is we're separated because we're trying to work this out. I don't know if it's a conversation. It probably should be, but it's almost implied. We're still married. We're separated,
and we're trying to make it work.
Right.
We're trying to save this thing.
Right. And so, as such, having sex with somebody else is probably not a beneficial thing. Again, you know how you do it. This is how
No, if you're separated and you both are sitting down, you're going to a counselor or trying to work it out together. And are we really going to spend the time, resources, and money in trying to save this thing? This is what you want to do. Yes, I want to save this marriage. Right. And then they go screw around on you. It's over.
Well, that's exactly
because I'm like, no, that's not.
Right. Well, and that would be the question. Hey, is it okay if we date people while we're separated? Right. Well,
then why are you together?
I'm like, look, here's your money back.
Then you could have the open relationship. Okay. Well, is this something that you'd want to bring into the marriage?
Yes.
Because if we're trying to save the marriage, and all of a sudden you want to date other people, are you saying you want an open marriage? Because he may be okay with that, and that's what Will and Jade are into. But if the whole separation thing to me is like, I'll separate. It's stupid.
Why? No, separate. Listen, there's a lot of couples who actually do well with
If
separation.
they're working at it.
Well, but working.
But just to separate and go your own way for a period of time and don't try to work. Okay, give me a timetable of when we're going to start. When are we going to try to make this thing work?
But sometimes you have to listen. There are
no, I understand that. But eventually you have to come back to the table.
Absolutely.
When you go through baseball arbitration, it ain't working. You separate.
You're right.
You go away. I'll see you Monday. Okay, we'll be back and we'll get back to work.
The difference in marriage is not I'll see you Monday, and particularly if one is cheated on the other. A lot of times we recommend separation because you need that physical space to process your resentment, to throw things at the door. You know, you need that, and the timetable. I think that's the hardest thing is the timetable. You know, in arbitration, it's a contract. There's a certain amount of time. You know, you start sitting out OTAs and you start sitting out, and there gets to be a point where you have to call it.
Yep.
Couple, you can be separated for. There's no law. You can be separated. We know couples who live apart.
Yep.
They go, wow, this works better.
Well,
we're married, but we're physically separated. I've seen it before. I've seen it.
And there's financial gains that come along with that.
Well, but I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about because yes, there's that. But I'm saying,
or you have a family, and hey, mom and dad are trying to work it out. Maybe that's the inevitable, horrible aspect of this that you're like giving false hope to the kids. Because for the most part, if you're separating and you really want to work on the marriage, and all of a sudden she's moving away or he's moving away, and you're not talking to each other at all.
I know.
That's a separate. Okay, what's going to change then?
Well,
I would ask the question, what's going to change in that separation?
Here's what happens. People separate.
Because if you just needed time away from me, then we're going to go through this again. Because when you get back with me, we have to fix what the problem is.
Yes. No, I agree with you. You don't separate and that's all you do.
Yeah.
You're separating in order to create psychological space so that you can go to counseling together, individual, or even if you're not going to go, let's say you're not going to go that route. Think about it in a safer space. Have conversations on the phone instead of. I mean, that's what the separation does. You're right. I mean, I would say about 50-50. To be honest with you, about 50-50 couples who separate get back together. Yep. A lot has to do with whether they're kids or not. We had on the web. What is it? The guy got like married and divorced 4 times.
Yeah, the same girl.
That's just dumb.
He married her. No, I think he married her 3 times.
That's dumb. Not the relationship part, just like the logistic financial part. That's dumb. I honestly believe that there's a lot going on with Will and Jada, like you said, that we don't know about. They're still married.
Mm-hmm.
They still have, they got kids. You know, we don't know. See, I go back to this all the time. I fall into this trap. We all fall into this trap. I want to analyze them and their thing. I don't freaking know them.
Yeah.
We can't go any deeper than what they put out, what paparazzi says, and then what we kind of infer. Think about on Facebook or your friends, your social friends. Wow, I wonder what kind of marriage. They look so happy together. There's got to be something going on. There's got to be. Oh, wait, I heard they had an argument. Mm-hmm. Wait. Oh, see.
Yeah, we want to see it, yeah.
We do that
it's sad.
all the time. We also do it with social media. I love the social media. I get caught in this one. They look so happy. Why are they so happy?
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy.
Sure.
I'm happy, but they look happier. Are they happier? You know, they're on their 6th vacation. And the narrative, this is why social media is difficult, right? All the problems with young teenage girls, etc. Because we fill in all the places that there's no information.
Yeah.
I can't believe they said that. Look at them doting over their child like I do.
And again, remember these are celebrities because they're in front of journalists.
He's
got the book coming out. And so they're divulging information that again, they only the thing about the podcast thing, and I appreciate the fact that they're so transparent, so open about it, because that the whole idea that she cheated and everything was pretty amazing. And then they're going to put that front up that, hey, listen, and I wonder, before they did the open thing in 2020, What was their discussion before they did that podcast? I can promise you right now, 100%, they didn't sit down and say, just let it rip.
Their podcast or her red table thing? Because
this was part of the red table thing, but this is where he joined her on the show,
Yes,
and they admitted that she had this extramarital affair while they were on a break with Alsina. But there had to be a conversation between the two of them. We're doing this podcast thing. There's going to be some really tough questions. We're coming clean on everything. So where are we going with this? What are we divulging? What are we talking about? Or is this anything goes?
Yeah, and they're too smart.
Because they denied everything prior to that.
Yeah.
And they're too smart. And by the way, I have a book coming out on November 9th. It's a memoir called Will. It's 432 pages, a mega memoir. It's really interesting. As a married couple, whenever I see dissension, success, happiness, joyness, this horrible divorce, whatever, whenever I see another couple, in this particular case, this would be a great class. This would be Marriage 101. Well, we could sit there and look at that.
No. But this is not 101. This would be like an advanced course.
Yeah. It would be. Advanced algebra. It gives you the opportunity, like you just said, to sit down with your wife or husband and say, did you see this story? Isn't this crazy? Can you imagine? I mean, if I cheated on you, or if we were taking a break, or like if we, and again, guys are like, my marriage is good. I mean, that's why, when I was going through my divorce, a lot of my married friends, I couldn't even find them.
No, that's the whole thing.
They didn't want to have anything to do with me.
Because why?
Because they didn't want to have to deal with anything they were dealing with.
Okay, yes. So there's
because everyone thought that I was going to be married forever. I didn't get married until I was 36, 37-year-old. I had a wonderful ex-wife. My wife was fantastic. Everyone called her a saint for even being with me. And so, we had made it this long, and so we had kids and everything else. So
scares the bejesus.
It scares the hell out of people.
Oh, yeah. It does. And particularly, I don't know if it's just males or just female. I think it's both. I think it's any couple. You see a couple that you thought were great, and it's falling apart. You're instantly doing two things. One, what happened, obviously, and two, is there any connection between what happened to them and us?
Yeah.
It is a great opportunity. Can you imagine if you're a guy and your wife came home or your girlfriend came home? Actually, it doesn't even matter. I was thinking, wife, gay or straight, came home and said, how do you define relational perfection?
Yeah.
That's
just too broad.
No, that's a conversation.
It is, but I mean, first of all, you'd have to explain what
I'd be
relational
like, I got to go outside
perfection
and cut the grass first.
I think the better way to say it is, how can we make our relationship stronger?
No.
Because Vince Lombardi said it best: strive for perfection so you can be excellent.
No, but I'm not saying I'm saying, how do you define? I would ask that of a couple. How do you see what is relational perfection for you?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're going to get there.
Yeah.
I'm saying what is that clergy should say that. That should be on the Catholic.
It can't hurt.
Why not? And if you can't go there, I'm not saying that you instantly know. But if you can't even come up with, well, it means that we both trust each other, that our arguments we're able to work through, blah, blah. If you can't go there, then you're not invested in your relationship enough.
When you did you meet with anyone before you got married?
Either time. No, second time because it was because she was of a different religion. We just met with a rabbi who sort of told us how to raise the kids. But we don't have in the Jewish religion. There's not.
Was there ever a point in your relationship where someone asked you, an outside source asked you the question, "What do you find about Jules or whoever? What do you like about them?"
Yeah, no, I mean absolutely. I mean it was friends, family.
And was she there when you said what you liked about her?
Oh, yeah. I was trying to think. I shared it more when she wasn't with me.
Yep.
But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can tell you this: she is the kindest, most thoughtful person I've ever met, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I say that objectively, even though I'm biased. Yeah. That's number one. Number two, she's probably the most intentional person I've ever met. She thinks about essentially everything that she does and that she says. That's not it's a difference than calculated. She takes into account other people before she's into. That's number 2. Number 3 is she's super smart, super strong, super independent. She can hold her own, but she's not afraid to be vulnerable. And then number 4, and not in this order, I love the way she looks.
Yep.
Married 23 years.
Yeah,
and then number 5, what
yeah.
caught me, at the hello was the Southern accent. And that's how I got to Birmingham. Like every other West Coast, East Coast guy who got here.
Southern accent will get you.
If you ask any
It'll
East
get
Coast,
you.
West Coast guy who is heterosexual, who lives here in Birmingham, Alabama,
I'm from
from
the
here.
Midwest.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be West Coast.
It's just
I
the
got
Southern-
down here, signed a 1-year deal, and after I heard the way the women talk down here, I was like, I'm staying for
here.
a while.
I'm in.
No.
I'm in. But yeah, but I can do that, and I think that you should be able, if you're in a relationship, you should be able to have a conversation about relational perfection. And if you can't, I'm not saying you don't need a little time to like study and figure out, but if you can't, if you absolutely can't, then you're not invested. You're not into that relationship enough.
Yeah.
You're just not.
I'm with you.